Just last week, we were talking about how Harry Kane is the best penalty kick taker in the world, and with a record of 12 and 12. But now he's 14 and 14, scoring two penalties on the 4-0 win against Bulgaria. And he's the number 9 currently on fire. And with that, I welcome you to episode 9 of the Sports Lounge on Elected TV. Episode 9, the Avengers are back to their full strength, and from my extreme left, I'll be starting with Captain America, numbers man, Precious from Mosue. It's nice to have you here, Precious.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Moving on to Thor, the fine boy on the crew. Emmanuel Sebastian, our king of grassroots. You're welcome on the show.
Always good to be here.
And finally, our man, our Formula 1 man, the Iron Man. It's good. I've missed you so much, Francis. I'll tell you why. I'll give you a story. Just last week, I was driving to the office and my car broke down. Wow. So I was waiting for the mechanic to come. And while I was waiting, I just said, let me watch the episode 1 of the Sports Lounge. And when you were talking about Formula 1 being a symphony, and as you were talking, I felt my car vibrating. I was like, let me just try. Let me give it a try. I put on my car and started walking. That's how much I missed you.
Oh my God.
It's great to have you back, Francis.
Yeah, good to be here. It feels good to be back, man.
We didn't have a lot of club football to discuss about over the weekend, but we have a lot of beautiful topics to deliberate on. And we'll be starting with the very one saying, who is responsible for getting the best out of players, the player or the coach himself? Before we even go into the footballing aspect of it, I'll start with Francis because I want to put it on a literal point of view. Even as a student, Francis, in school, who is expected to make a student better? Is it the student himself or the teacher?
Okay, so I'm guessing that there are a group of students in a class, and someone must come first and someone must come last. And so you can't say the teacher is not good if someone is coming last. Everyone can come first. So I think I'll look at it from a personal perspective. Growing up, I was a dumb kid. So like secondary school, I was such that I didn't know anything. And not because I didn't have good teachers, but because I wasn't studying. I was busy doing other things, writing poems, drawing fine girls. And getting into the university, I decided I don't want to be that guy. And from year 1 to year 4, I really excelled. So I don't think it's a thing of the teacher. I think the teacher has like 20% impact, but 80% is the student.
Okay, that's brilliant. For me, I believe it's 50-50% because I'm going to use Raheem Sterling as an example. Raheem Sterling, we always knew Raheem Sterling had that strong talent in him when he was in Liverpool, but he was just a young man growing up. But meeting Guardiola, the doctrines and the teachings of Guardiola, Sterling blossomed into the player we're seeing right now. So I believe is it 50-50% from the player, from the coach. But so let's quickly take a look at this video from Jamie Carragher talking on this same topic.
I'm sick of players and people making excuses for players saying the manager's not getting the best out of him. Honestly, get the best out yourself. Paul Pogba, he's just a top player. People talk about his position, being given freedom. What is freedom? People keep saying that about, he needs to be let off the leash. He needs freedom. What is it? Is freedom doing a stupid Cruyff turn on the half and losing the ball and Wolves going up the other end and scoring? Being a captain playing centre midfield, Manchester United, like Keane, like Scholes, like the great midfielders before, is playing for the team. And that's why Mourinho took the captaincy off him, because he doesn't feel he plays for the team. Pogba plays for himself, does his own thing. Mourinho, people saying, he's causing problems, he's taking the captaincy off him. But he's not really a captain, is he, Pogba, in terms of how he plays? He's letting his agent speak negatively about the club. Yeah, how can that happen if he's the man? He's that man for Manchester United, fighting for the club, fighting with his manager. I don't know if Pogba is worth the hassle for what he gives on the pitch. He's not as good as he thinks he is. He's not. He's got talent, but his big problem is his understanding of the game. It's been a problem since he come, and it hasn't changed now. If you're asking me, because it looks like it's Mourinho or Pogba, who do I see in the right between these two? Jose Mourinho. And as I said, don't be expecting a completely different player if Jose Mourinho leaves Manchester United with Paul Pogba.
So do you see what I'm talking about? Well, let's quickly go to Precious right now. Precious, who's responsible for getting the best out of the player?
Well, I don't want to reel out statistics with respect to this.
We were expecting
I'll just try and sit on the fence and say it's a shared responsibility. Yeah. We talk about Raheem Sterling, for example. you forget that there are also a number of players who have been under Pep's tutelage, but then they have failed woefully. Okay, so it's shared. We look at a player like Aguero, for example, and somebody tells you that Aguero has been scoring goals before Pep came in. But it's important to note as well that in Pep's system, they defend from the front. So it means the number 9 also has to defend. And Aguero was never the kind of player to press from the front. Pep instilled that defensive discipline in him. Aguero learned that. And then when it looked like Aguero was kind of trying to relax a bit, Pep threatened him with the Gabriel Jesus. Everybody knows Gabriel Jesus cannot stand on the same pedestal with Aguero. But then Pep, as a coach, as a teacher in the context of what we're talking about now, instilled that fire inside him by threatening his position, moving him away from his comfort zone. So yeah, there is a lot your teacher can do to inspire you, but the vast majority of the responsibility falls on you as the individual, as the player in question now, to take in the instructions of your coach.
I love the way you put it. I'm going to put you on the spot now, Emmanuel. Messi. Did Guardiola make Messi? Or did Messi make my Guardiola?
I think talking about who makes players, I think it's a 50-50 thing, like we all say. But in as much as we are talented, we need someone to guide us, to nurture us, to harness the full potential of that talent. So that is why, looking at it, you want to say we tend not to give credit to maybe the nutritionist, the fitness trainer. These are people who play important role as well in keeping players fit. Yes, we know this guy is talented on the pitch of play, but there are some other aspects of the game that they need to build on, and it's not just down to the manager rather. So, but there are other aspects of the game that they need to improve on. So I would say yes, bulk of the responsibility might fall on the player, but I think the coaches as well, has a lot of role to play, in bringing up those players. But talking about Messi and Guardiola, I think Messi is himself. Messi has the name, but he still needs the manager, to guide him and to nurture him. But Messi is Messi anytime of the day.
Let me throw a question out to the crew. When a player takes it as their responsibility to become the best, rather, does that make them a bit selfish? Do you think I'm going to bring an incident that we didn't talk about last week. Sadio Mane, after Salah was put in through and Mane was free, Salah didn't pass the ball. Was that him trying to take responsibility into his hands, into making him the best? Because I know they were joint highest goal scorer in the EPL last season. So do you think sometimes it makes players become selfish, rather?
I think this is what people tend to forget about Roberto Firmino. This is a guy who give himself for the team. Yeah, I think that he's one of the different players from that front three. He doesn't care if he gets into the goals or he just sacrifices himself for the team. But talking about the Salah and Mane incident, I think it was kind of blown out because the way Mane reacted. There were some points last season where Mane was open on goal. He had Salah to play the ball to, but he didn't give the ball to him. So I think that was the game against, I think it was a Merseyside derby against Everton. Liverpool drew that game. I think Sam Allardyce then was the manager of Everton. So he was through on goal. He has the opportunity to pass to Mo Salah, but I think he refused to pass. So talking about selfishness, strikers have it in them. So I don't think it's going to be an issue, amongst them. They need to they can sort it out amongst themselves. But I don't fault Salah for that. I expect him to be selfish again in games. That is how he is. He likes to get in the party, especially when the likes of Firmino is in the game, Sadio Mane is in the game. He wants to feel in the game. And at the end of the day, they were lucky it didn't end up hurting them because they were 3-0 up in the game.
What did you think about that, Precious? Was it?
Well, I think let me take it from this angle. Salah is the alpha male in the Liverpool team. So you do not expect like a Thierry Henry, for example, to be in prime position to score a goal and then he sees Kanu, with all due respect to Kanu, on maybe in a better position. Henry is aiming for the top goal scorer, the top gong, and you expect Henry to pass. All alpha male players have it in them.
I'm going to hold you on that. Mane was joint highest goal scorer with Salah.
Yeah.
Are you telling me he cannot?
Mane is trying to lay claim to Salah's crown. Remember, Salah was the big guy for Liverpool the season before last season.
Yeah.
And then statistically though, Mane registered just 1 or 2 assists last season. Yeah. So it tells you, regardless of all the... we like activity a lot.
Yeah.
Salah scored more goals, had more assists than Sadio Mane. So all in all, I think he's the alpha male at Liverpool. You can't fault him.
I think Mane will get his claim finally this season.
You think so? Well, the Avengers have spoken. Francis believes the student has more, 80-20%. Emmanuel and Precious believe it's 50%, so do I. But one man who made a great choice to move to Man City was Sterling, and it's definitely reaping reward. We'll be going on a short break now. Last week, Ayotunde Onabolu was speaking to us about wrong choices that some basketballers make, but today he's going to be telling us about some positive choices. Hi, Ayo. How are you doing?
Well, thank you very much for having me as always, and thank you all for tuning in to the best of basketball with me, Ayo, on the Sports Lounge, only on Elegbete TV. Last week, we took a look at NBA players who took very bad decisions in hindsight that led to a downward turn in their professional careers. But in this episode, we will be looking at a few guys who took decisions that ultimately turned out to be smart money moves for their careers. And take note, in the NBA, the ultimate success for superstars is pretty much measured by how many rings you're able to win. So these stories we're about to delve into, and then in title wins for the players concerned. So let's get right into it. Number one is LeBron James. Yeah, I bet this did not come to you as a surprise, did it? Now, LeBron was drafted number one overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2003 NBA draft, and in just his fourth season in the league, he led the Cavs to the NBA Finals, where they were swept by the San Antonio Spurs. And after suffering eliminations in the Eastern Conference semifinals in the next 3 seasons, LeBron hit free agency, still looking for his first NBA title. And it was such a big deal for LeBron because he had been compared to Michael Jordan, the GOAT, in terms of playing ability. But Jordan won his first of 6 titles in his 7th season, while LeBron had completed his own 7th season without winning a single title. So it was at that point that LeBron decided to team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh at the Miami Heat, much to the dislike of several NBA fans worldwide. And the rest, they say, is history. LeBron won 2 titles in 4 seasons with Miami. And of course, we all know that in 2014, LeBron returned to Cleveland and eventually got them their first ever NBA title in franchise history, becoming the first team till date to come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the title. And next up, you probably guessed right. Kevin Durant. Now, KD has been ranked up there with LeBron as the best player in the world for the past 5 or so years. So when after his 9th year he had not won any title, people began to wonder if KD would actually go down as perhaps the best player in NBA history never to win a title. KD spent his first 9 years with the Oklahoma City Thunder, including his only season when the team was still called the Seattle Supersonics. In 2013, KD led OKC, which also had Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, and James Harden, to the NBA Finals, where they lost to LeBron and the Miami Heat. And in 2016, KD and OKC made it to the Western Conference Finals, where they took a 3-1 lead against the Golden State Warriors, who had just won an NBA record 73 wins in the regular season. And somehow the Warriors rallied back to beat OKC in that series. And right after that season, KD became a free agent and shocked the whole world when it emerged he was joining forces with the Warriors, who had just eliminated him in the Western Conference Finals. Wow. It was pretty much a case of, if you can't beat them, join them. But of course, who cares what anyone thinks if the decision is all about winning, huh? So the rest again is history. KD led the Warriors to 2 straight titles, winning Finals MVP on both occasions. But for the unfortunate calf and Achilles injuries he suffered last season, he and the Warriors probably could have made it a 3-peat. Last but not the least is a player I made reference to on the last episode of the show, Shaquille O'Neal, when I spoke about Dwight Howard. Big Shaq. He decided to leave the Orlando Magic for the Los Angeles Lakers after spending 4 seasons, during which he led them to the NBA Finals in only his 3rd season. And although he did not enjoy immediate success like LeBron and KD, Shaq eventually won 3 straight titles starting from his 4th season with the Lakers, winning Finals MVP on all 3 occasions. So you see, at times you have to make the unpopular decision in order to enjoy the success you're looking for, just like LeBron, KD, and Shaq. At times, you don't have to pay too much attention to what the world around you is saying. You know the vision you saw in the first place, and you have got to make the right decision. And on that note, it's a wrap on the best of basketball with me, Ayo, on the Sports Lounge, only on Elegbete TV. Let me now hand you back to the legends in the studio. It's clutch time, baby.
Thank you so much, Ayatunde. And now the moment we've been waiting for. Francis, the show has missed you so much. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my Pepsi and let you take the wheel. What's happening in Formula One?
Okay. Happy to be back. I missed you guys too. But this weekend we went all the way to Italy. Lovely landscape, 3 active volcanoes, the best pizza in the world. I mean, name it. Italy is heaven. And then in Italy, we went to Monza, one of the best racetracks in the world. Now, Monza has like 84% high speed track part, where it's pedal to the metal and forgetting all the corners. 11 corners, 3 DRS zones. Now, DRS is the drag reduction system in the car. So when you're watching the race, there are around Monza, there are 3 points where this drag reduction system comes into place to help the driver. At the back of the car, there's the wings, the flaps. So these flaps open up to allow air pass through and allow the driver to be able to catch up with the driver in front of him. Meaning that when he's a certain distance behind the car in front is punching through air. And the air coming out from the back of the car is disturbing, is scattered. So it's disturbing and hot and dirty, mostly in chicanes, in corners. So this thing opens up to assist the driver in moving, and that's what DRS is. And it's very healthy, and it assisted Hamilton today. I mean, if there was no DRS, Hamilton would have been so far off the race leader, it would have looked like Mercedes was a backbencher.
Before you go on, I'm going to ask, this DRS, does it only work for someone that is behind?
Yes.
The person,
yes. It only works if you are within 1 second of the car in front of you. If you are 1.07 seconds, it doesn't work. But once you are 0 point, then this DRS works in the zones that it is supposed to work in. And that's it. Okay. So going to the race, Leclerc came out on top, and the 2 Mercedes cars split the Ferrari cars during qualifying, and everybody already knew from Spa last weekend to this weekend, Spa and Monza, we knew that the Ferrari cars would be very good because they have an extra straight line speed, a little more than the Mercedes and every other car maker. So today's race was really crazy from the start finish. Lewis Hamilton had the best takeoff. Leclerc blocked him, and then the 4 of them took off like that. When I say 4 of them, I mean the 2 Mercedes and the 2 Ferrari. Every other person, let's just forget them. So we continued going, and on the 7th lap, around the Ascari chicane, a very beautiful corner, a 4-time world champion just spun and missed it, Vettel, and he was supposed to be the person to chase Lewis Hamilton, be in between Lewis Hamilton and Vettel, exactly what he did in Spa, and defend Ferrari's title or honor in Italy. And when I say defend, like not let Lewis Hamilton pass and delay him from catching the front guy. So on the long run, this didn't happen. He missed out, fell back to last place, and came back and got a 10-second penalty because he almost hit another car who was a young driver. Imagine a young driver calling someone who is older than him with like 10 years a stupid person. Like, he came back on the track like a crazy person. That's just disrespectful. And anyway, it's Vettel's fault. And also, Lance Stroll himself was also given a 5-second penalty because he did the same thing. In the end, Hamilton struggled because he was running in the hot air of the Ferrari car, Leclerc, and he had a lot of issues. At some point, he fell off and allowed Valtteri Bottas go. His drivers called, his race engineer called, and we're like, Valtteri, chase him, hunt him down. This is your win. Valtteri couldn't do anything. The Ferrari cars were on point today. They were awesome. The Mercedes car was losing a lot of drag due to the turbulence from the Ferrari cars. And man, I mean, Leclerc just won it, and that was just about the summary of today.
Because of you, Formula One has become my fifth best sport.
So it was six.
It's fifth now. Like,
Yeah.
it's making
Fourth,
progress.
we're coming
But
up.
make it clear for me, Leclerc now. What does this win mean for him? Does he improve his rankings?
Yeah, it helped Ferrari. So his continuous wins helped Ferrari to climb the table, but they are still like 150 points off the constructors' title, which Mercedes is holding currently today. I think they are holding it at 505 points. And Leclerc is fourth, so he's still like 102 points. He's still exactly 102 points off Lewis Hamilton. It just improves his ego and best rookie of the season, that kind of thing.
Thank you very much, Francis. We'll get back to you as regards something called the G-force with cars.
Okay.
Emmanuel, what's going on in grassroots? Is Better FC still on top?
So so the key word for me was drama. Just when I thought I've seen it all, I saw the France Albania game, this past weekend. The players were on the pitch and the wrong anthem was played for the Albanian national team, and the players on the pitch were like, "What was going on?" The Andorra anthem was playing while Albania were on the pitch, and the stadium announcer made another glaring error, apologizing to the Armenian fans. Whereas it was Albania on the pitch, so it was so dramatic for me. But talking about grassroots, this past weekend there was a lot of drama. We saw in the league fixtures being played. We saw games between GPC and Utility Sport. It was a draw game. And talking about the drama, one thing that is very, very difficult to do when you talk about grassroots football is officiating a grassroots football match. I think I must give kudos to the referee in the Surulere Regional League. It's very tough. The pressure from the fans. I think everyone now wants the 3 points because it's getting intense. We are getting close towards the end of the league. So the pressure from the coaches, from the fans in the stadium, whenever a decision goes against their team. So that was why I'll give kudos to Aziz. Kendi Aziz is rumored to be one of the youngest referees in Lagos. So he was in charge of the AEU game against the Royals. It was a comeback victory for the Royals. They were trailing at halftime, but they came back in the second half to win that game. So I think he managed the situation very well on the pitch. Despite the off-field antics from the AEU manager, it was so sad to be on the losing side. But kudos to Kendi Aziz, one of the great youngest referee in Lagos, handling that situation very well. And talking about drama in the league, we also saw Dino Sporting Club up against Starbase Football Club. Now, when you talk about grassroots football, there are walkovers. Like what GRV had, their game was walkover for them because their opponent didn't turn up for the game. So it was a walkover, 3 points for them. Now, it's the same situation between Adonese Stars, and before I get back to Dino Sporting Club, talking about walkovers, it's the same situation between Adonese Stars and Danas Football Club. Now, these two teams, I think there's a bad blood between both teams because we were talking about the Trem Cup in the previous episode. During their run to the final, Adonese Stars, they knocked out Danas Football Club on their way to the final, but they lost that final. So I think the bad blood has been between these teams. So their game was supposed to start for a stipulated time, but Danas Football Club they turn up late. So the rules of walkover in the game, you're supposed to be at the pitch 1 hour before your game. So it was communicated to the Adonese Stars coach that the boss of Danas FC broke down on the way that they are going to come so time, and he agreed. And for Danas Football Club getting to the pitch, and I think he realized that we need this 3 point too. The Adolescent Stars are one of the clubs close to the top of the table. So I think he later realized we need this 3 point. Let's see if we can get a walkover in this game. But the mistake he made, the officials were on the pitch. They were on the pitch, and the Danas players who came into the stadium met them on the pitch, and we were expecting the game to go on. So the coach of Adonese Stars, that's Coach Da Silva, he instructed his players, to walk off the pitch, and the game was deemed inconclusive. Just like what we saw in the CAF Champions League. I don't know, we all saw that drama. So the game was deemed inconclusive. So that was, part of the drama we saw. And another game we saw drama, like I was talking about, the Dino Sporting Club and Starbase Football Club. Now Starbase, they came into the game, they were not, the players were not complete. Starbase Football Club, their players are bulk of Unilag students. So most of these guys, they go to work, either they're in school and all that. So they were not complete on the pitch, and the president had to get in goal for the team. Yeah, that's one thing you see in grassroots football is it has to be in goal, and you need to see the first goal considered. You should go and say goalkeeper. But that was just how it started, and unfortunately for Starbase, they won that game. So, but the drama came in at full time. In as much as we see referees the inconsistencies in them making their decisions, of course, not only in grassroots, we see it across leagues. Even despite the invention of VR, referees are still a bit inconsistent. So, it came out, ended up between a bad blood between both managers. They were exchanging words and all that. So, for the Dino Sporting players, they never knew the guy they saw in goal was one of the backroom staff of Starbase Football Club. So as they were, as argument was going on between both coaches, one of the Junior Sporting players saw, the Starbase who played as a goalkeeper, shove a bit the coach of Junior Sporting, and he reacted angrily, and shoved the goalkeeper for Starbase, not knowing he was back himself. It was later when they told him, after the whole melee, they now told him he was a coach of one of the coaching staff of Starbase Football Club. So at this spark, when he came in, he shoved him. The Starbase player reacted. That was how it was. It was a crazy scene right there in the National Stadium. So it turned out to the melee you don't see teams going against each other. But I think the situation was handled perfectly. The league, the LOC, the chairman, the board, they dished out the right punishment to the teams, the right fines to the players that are responsible. And all that. And the other area of drama I was going to talk about is have you been to Ajigule before, Francis?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Precious, have you been to Ajigule before?
Not sure.
Have you been to Ajigule before?
No.
I think we have to even this one because I've been to the locations of you guys, but I think you guys need to come to Ajigule. Why I asked that question?
You want the Avengers?
Have you been to Monza?
Monza, no, I've been to Monza.
No, you've not come to
So we love football in Ajigule, and the Mikura Football Championship, the Mikura Soccer Championship, brings that excitement. We saw fixtures being played this past weekend, and these are fixtures that are played Saturday and Sunday. I think it's one of the biggest grassroots football competition in Ajigule. It's played at the Maracana. I think if you're coming from Ajigule and it's a popular stadium, I think the likes of Ojo Igalo and the likes Brown Ide will you can tell when they see clips of this tournament. These are players who've passed through this competition before. So it's played between streets. Each streets, they register for the tournament, and the winner gets a huge prize sum money at the end of the day. So it's the fans, the glamour is there. You see fans turning out, trooping in to watch these football games, cheering their team on. We saw fixtures between Silver Street and Olakole Street played this past weekend. I think Silver Street had more fans in the stadium because the street is closer to where the Maracana pitch is in Ajigule. So I think they cheered their team on, and they got the deserved victory on the day. You can see clips of the fans cheering their team when they scored that second goal. So it was another comeback victory for them again. So Olakole scored first, but they scored. They got the equalizer through a guy called Aloma, a guy I know very well, and another player, Festus Saja. So the fans were very very happy for that victory. So that is one glamour this tournament brings in Ajigule. So we hope we keep updating our listeners as the competition goes on.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. I'll be making a little visit to Ajigule to see that. So Francis, quickly, I only know about G Unit. What is this about G Force you're talking about?
Okay, so G Force is not G Unit. So G Unit are a group of guys. I don't know who those guys are. But G Force now is the gravitational pressure. It's just gravitational pressure. But G Force in the braking of a Formula 1 car. Okay, so that is the gravitational pressure on the neck. In a Formula 1 car, the G Force is mainly on the neck of the driver. So in a road legal car like your car,
Okay.
when someone match brake in front of you, hits their brake, and you hit your own brake too, and you stop from maybe like 60 to 0 all of a sudden, The G force affecting you at that point, no matter how much that force is, it's just one G force. But the one affecting a Formula One car is 10 times the pressure of gravity. 5 times the pressure of gravity,
Wow.
which is 5G. And at that point, you can equate it to putting cement is 50 grams,
Yeah.
50 kg.
Yeah.
You can equate it to gently putting a bag of cement on the neck of the Formula One driver. So when he's matching that distance and going like this, it's like, and so that is.
I wouldn't like 50
Oh,
of cement on
that's why you would have seen that after the race this weekend. You would have seen when Leclerc came out from his car and he was taking off this thing and they wanted to interview him. He was like, I've never been so tired." So all of that, even that he was sitting in one place, you think it's so easy. They don't run up and down. They just sit in one place. It's very stressful. I can say more stressful than running up and down chasing a football.
Thank you very much, Pastor. We'll be going on a very short break now, but when we come back, we can't end the show without talking about one of the world's most decorated nine. We'll be right back. So welcome back, guys. Unfortunately, time is very, very limited, so this conversation could possibly move into next week. But definitely, we have to talk about one of the best nines in the world, Samuel Eto'o. He recently retired at the age of 38. And I'm going to quickly throw a quick question to the crew: is Samuel Eto'o the greatest African player of all time?
Yes, he's the greatest. Drogba. The only thing Drogba has close to him is leadership.
Emmanuel, is he better than George Weah?
I think for me, Samuel Eto'o is the greatest player. Yeah, George Weah winning the world best player of the year, but I think Samuel Eto'o.
Francis, you wanted to say JJ Okocha.
Hey, but you didn't follow me. How did you know what I was saying? Like, he was named twice, JJ. So,
Well, Samuel Eto'o is definitely the best African player of all time for me. So thank you very much, guys. It's been so much fun on episode 9. Please kindly subscribe, like, comment, because even if you don't, when you wake up in the morning, we'll be there. When you're eating food, we'll be there. Before you sleep, we'll be there. So please subscribe. Thank you very much. See you next week.